People think that oil painting is the hardest way to paint and the messiest, but actually I think it's the easiest because it doesn't dry so fast that you can't. So acrylic paint is made of synthetic materials and it dries very quickly. Oil paint is made from natural, well, some synthetic chemicals, but originally all natural materials, flax oil and flaxseed oil, and pigments from the earth. And then as time went on, other pigments were invented in the lab that enhanced oil paints. And but oil paint stays malleable for a much longer period of time. So if you're painting and it's going badly, you can scrape part of it off and redo that. You can kind of push the paint around there. You can work on your edges. You can layer another layer on top, either wet or dry. It's historically linked to art going way, way, way back, and acrylic paint is a contemporary medium. And then oil paint compared to watercolor, a lot of people start painting in watercolor because they think it's the easiest, because you just use water as your solvent, more or less, to clean your brushes and to dilute the paint. And actually, watercolor is the hardest medium. It's hardest to control. It's so transparent. You can see everything that goes wrong. And if you make a mistake, there's not a whole lot. I mean, you can wet it and blot it, but there's not a whole lot you can do. So you start again. But I start my students with just the primary colors in white. And so the primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. And there are specific brands and colors within that brand I recommend, so they have a pure yellow, a pure red, and a pure blue. You can mix almost anything you need from those three colors in white, even an almost black color.
Wow.
So
right.
If you put all three colors together, they cancel each other out and make a, if you put in a little more blue, it goes blackish. If you put in a little more red, it goes brownish. So you really can, if you only ever had those three colors plus white, you could paint forever, really. It is very therapeutic because you start to, you connect with the parts of your brain you don't use in daily life, probably. And it can be very relaxing and very frustrating at the same time, because you see what other people can do and you want to do that, but it takes time and it takes what we call brush mileage, and it takes, even though you have the knowledge, it takes a while for it to get all the way from your brain to your hands, it seems. It just takes practice, like everything else. It's a thinking person's, I don't want to call it a pastime. It's like a practice. It's kind of like yoga. You really connect all the parts of your brain. You use the practical side of your brain when you're figuring out what supplies to get and how you're going to do it. And then you kind of, while you're painting, you're also thinking about all the things you learned about composition and color and lights and darks and how to apply the paint. But you also connect with the very spiritual side of yourself. Spiritual in that you connect with the part of you that, I don't want to sound nutty, but that thinks high thoughts. And sometimes you feel like you just connect to the universe. And when a painting goes really well, sometimes there's almost, I guess it's like a runner where they reach a high. Sometimes you get into this zone where everything's going so well, and suddenly you stop and it's like, how did I do that?
Wow.